Hey guys, Rich here. Gonna be working on something today. Nothing fancy. Look familiar? This is the old lady Subaru. Last couple of weeks or so, the dummy light on the dash for the oil, little red oil can, be coming on and off and on and off and on for a while and off for a while. And I'm pretty sure it's the oil pressure sensor. But to be 100% sure, to make sure, I went to Harbor Freight and got a handy dandy oil pressure test kit. It was fucking $20. It goes from 0 to 140. The gauge is huge. Nice 300 psi hose and all the brass fittings and attachments you could need and whatnot. But the oil pressure sensor on these is underneath the alternator, so I'm going to be taking out the guard for the alternator belt, which is held in by 10mm over here, and this 10mm has to come out. I'll just take this guard and flip it up, and then I got to take this 12mm bolt out that holds in the alternator. Right here's the alternator belt adjuster. It's also a 12mm. And then there's a hold bolt on the slide for the alternator tensioner. You just gotta loosen that, crack that loose, and then loosen that. The alternator falls down, the belt comes off. You can lay the alternator up here and access the oil pressure sensor. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't know if I can set you up here so you can watch or not. Let's see. Yeah, I think that might work. I'll show you guys real quick how to take the alternator out of a 98 Subaru Forester. It's not complicated, especially when you have air tools and know how it comes apart. I'm grabbing my 3/8 impact gun, and I'm grabbing a 6-inch extension. I'm grabbing my 10mm and my 12mm sockets. Like I said, I'm gonna pop this bad boy out. For this procedure, it's recommended to disconnect the battery so you don't short circuit any of the the alternator wire. But I know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to be extra careful and ginger when I set the shit over there. I just got to zip off. Now I'm going to grab my air ratchet. I'm using my 1/4-inch air ratchet with a 3/8 adapter, so I can fit my 3/8 socket on it. Make sure I got it in loosen. I'm going to loosen up this alternator holding bolt. This is the pivot. You got to catch that nut that's on the back. Now I can slip my guard off. I'm going to loosen that bolt I told you that's holding the alternator adjuster tight, and now I'm going to loosen the alternator bolt. This relieves the belt tension. You might have to tap your alternator down. Slide the belt off. Remove this bolt, holding your alternator in on that pivot point. You might have to jiggle it out. I need some persuasion. I'm going to get a pry bar, Craftsman pry bar, nothing special. Move that alternator around a little. Bolt came out. Now the alternator should just take that bolt I said to loosen actually has to come all the way out. That was my mistake, I wasn't thinking. I just dropped it. Let me get a magnetic pickup tool. got my bolt. Now what I'm going to do is pick this alternator up and out of here. If it will come out nicely, you might have to use a pry bar. There we go. I just set it off to the side there like that. Now if you can see in there, let me get you some light. Right there's the beast. Right there's the oil pressure sensor. I'm going to be unscrewing that out. I'm not sure what size wrench that takes. Let me see. Let me unplug it. I'm not sure what size wrench that takes. That looks pretty big. I'm guessing it's I don't know, it's something big. Let me see. Probably just use vice grips on the fucking thing. 25 millimeter? Let's see. Nope, too small. Let's see if 1 inch fits it. Nope, too small. God damn. 1.25 inches, that's gotta be too big. And I got a 32, that's gotta be too big. Here's 1.16 inches I cut off. Maybe that'll fit it. Bingo! Yep, look, spins it right off. Yep. See if it's hand tight yet. Oh yeah. Okay guys, there's an oil pressure sensor from a fucking 98 Subaru Forester Type S. Any Forester with a 2.5 engine will have the same oil pressure sensor. Now let's match this up. Let's match this up over here with these fittings. I think we might have found a winner right here on this one. Yup, let's see if it threads in at the engine. Oh yeah. Feels kind of tight. Maybe not. Unless they're probably tapered threads. Let me make sure. Get a pair of pliers here. Let me hold them side by side here. Count the threads and look at them. I like to hold the threads together, make sure they're the same distance apart, same diameter. Yeah, this is it, guys. This is D1. So what you want to do is you want to thread that where the oil pressure sensor was. I don't think I'd go crazy tight with it, but you want to get it in there decently. Okay, and now I'm going to take our gauge and I'm going to thread the gauge into there. I don't know if I can set you up in here or not. I need to get me a tripod. Fucking stay there. You see that? Yeah, right there's the brass fitting. Okay. Hopefully the camera won't fall over. So I'm going to take my hose that on the gauge here. I'm going to thread it into this fitting here. Looks like fun. Trying to get that fucker threaded. I There we go. She's in. Make sure that's tight. Yep. Hand tightening it as tight as I can get it. I don't want to go crazy. Just drop the damn wrench. Okay. I want to make sure I move all my tools from the engine because I have to start it up for this test. Okay. Now what we're looking for here is we're looking for around 14 psi at idle, which is 800 RPMs. And we're going to be looking for, I think, a maximum of 48 psi or so at about 5,500 RPMs. Okay, guys? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gauge. The hose is nice and long. And I'm going to set it up here, right underneath the windshield wiper or something to support it, so I can see it. You know what? I'm going to get a piece of tape. Just a piece of 1.5" masking tape. And I'm going to stick it right here to my window. Right there to the windshield, pointing in. So when I start it up, I can see it. Okay. So here we are in the car. There's the gauge. I'm going to start it up here. Okay.
Transliterated Yiddish. So,
we are looking at...
she's at Boston, and my dad's from Brooklyn, but I hear everything, I should wait all day here for you to show up 5 minutes late?
We're looking at... What's the red gauge? PSI? We're looking at 42.
College was easy for us.
See, the margin is between around 14 at idle and all the way up to 48 at 55. Anything in between there at any RPM is good. I'm running at 41, 42 PSI at idle.
Is for me, as an idea of something that just happened and can happen, I feel the same way about the imposition. You know what I'm saying?
There's $5,000 and I'm at about... Damn, I was at 82.
Obviously, you're a Mel Brooks fan.
I don't know.
Let me just stop you here. So you run
the more oil pressure, the better, I would say. Right? I don't know.
From Spain, where it's spelled, changing the whole map of Jews around the world forever and ever. Okay.
I got oil pressure, that's for sure. So it's not like I'm starving the engine of oil. I think what I'm going to do in this case, I think I'm going to pop, yeah, see, plus that wasn't 100% leak proof either. Where did I put my damn light? Here. That wasn't 100% leak proof either, so I could have been reading the oil flowing through it instead of the actual pressure and then just stopping, I don't know. But, I'm going to throw in another oil pressure sensor and take her for a ride and see if that makes the oil light stop coming on. Because obviously I got oil pressure, the oil's moving, I haven't heard no knocks or nothing, that's why I really think it's that sensor. Because I've been checking the oil and, you got oil pressure, so that's good. But, yeah, I'm going to go grab an oil pressure sensor off of one of the junk blocks I got laying around, throw it in there, throw this stuff back together, and then I'm going to take it for a good drive tonight and see if the oil light comes on. I'm getting oil in my bearings, so I'm not worried about ruining my engine.